Welcome to the Rhode Island Wave Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Scott Nerney. We're at the Queeset Inn. And while you're watching this, don't forget to click subscribe, send it to a few friends. You always want to be involved with our network. You hear some great stories, especially tonight with Susan Tighe. Welcome to the Spotlight Series.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a native Rhode Island, born and raised in good old city of Woonsocket. Basically grew up there, and shortly after, when I was 18, I left for the U.S. Navy and served 4 years.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So it was an interesting starting journey of being in the service and living overseas, and then coming back. I'm back here in Rhode Island and have been most of my life.
And what is it that brought you back to Rhode Island? You know, was it a career or?
No, it was more family.
Okay.
My family was here, and when I came back, I was married and I had a child, and I thought, okay, let's go back to Rhode Island for a short time. Well, I'm still here. Not that that's a bad thing.
And what do you do for a career?
I'm a certified master grief coach.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
So I work with mainly women who are struggling through the grieving process. They might feel stuck. They might feel like they want to find a way to move forward in their life, to find happiness again, to be that old version of themselves. And in working with them, it's really about rediscovering themselves more so than we can never be the same person we were before we had an experience, especially like the death of a loved one. So I work with them in a variety of ways.
So would this be folks who have had a loss, such as you said, a death in the family, divorce, job loss, other things?
It's more the death of a loved one.
Okay.
Not that I understand that grief, can look in many forms. I happen to focus on loved ones.
Okay. Which can definitely be a traumatic experience to pick up and move forward.
Yes.
What was your motivation to do that?
The loss of my son. So I lost my son in 2017 to glioblastoma. So he died of a brain tumor after a 2.5-year diagnosis, from diagnosis to death.
And what are some of the responses you've received from your clients after helping them?
That their life has been transformed, that they now have a different outlook as far as living their lives.
And not to share the secret sauce, but what are some of the things that you do with the folks to try to help them get through?
The main thing I do is writing. I have them write. Writing is very cathartic, it's healing, it gets all the thoughts and the feelings out on paper or computer. Most people use a computer, yes, because that's homework, so I have to read it. Reading somebody's handwriting, a little challenging. So writing is the main form that I use because it's a way for people to process that you can't do in a verbal conversation.
And is it easy to work with you? I'm just thinking of the folks who are watching this, thinking, well, that might be something that I want to take a step into. Kind of explain your process to bring someone on board?
I meet with them. I always give a free discovery call to see if we're a good fit for each other, because I may not be the right person for them, or they might not be the type of client that I feel that I can service the best. We do that, and once they say, yes, let's move forward, we start off with a writing assignment based on what I've learned from them in order for them to start writing. And then each week they have a writing assignment, and then we have a coaching session.
Okay.
Right after that.
And typically, how long does it vary?
It's an intensive program. It's a 6-week program.
Okay.
So it's intensive. So it goes quickly.
Okay. When you talk about writing, you've also collaborated on some books yourself?
Yes. So shortly after I became a coach, I decided that I wanted to create a compilation book. Being from Rhode Island and producing events in my prior career, I knew a lot of people. So I reached out to 13 people that I knew, 13 women that I knew who had had a significant loss, whether that was a child, a spouse, a sibling, a friend, and shared my vision with them of what I thought that this book would look like. I already had the name, Shining a Light on Grief, because one of the reasons I wanted to do this was because I don't think grief is talked about enough, or it's very misunderstood. People act in very inappropriate ways when they hear that somebody's lost a loved one. It's simply because we don't know. Their intentions are good. So in writing this book, I wanted to, bring it out more into the light. It's a very dark subject. People don't want to talk about it. Well, let's bring it to the forefront and talk about grief. And through that, to offer hope and inspiration to those who may be grieving and they're not sure where to go. A book is an easy way for somebody to understand somebody else's story or feel like they're not alone in what they're going through, that people do think the same way that they're currently thinking, and that they do get through it, that they are able to see a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good book for people to read that aren't going through a loss, to learn how to adjust to someone else and help them.
Exactly.
And where's the book available now?
It's available on Amazon. It's also available at Stillwater Books here in West Warwick now, as well as my website.
Okay. Susan, what's next in the writing section?
Well, I have my Shining a Light on Grief Volume 3 that I am now currently looking for authors. That will be starting in January, so that journey of about 6 months where the authors write their story, and it goes from starting it to ending it within 6 months. So I'm currently looking for people who have been through some of the grieving process, not necessarily, I don't think we're ever done, but enough where they feel they have a story that does provide that hope and inspiration that I mentioned earlier.
Okay, and they can contact you at your website to talk about that or email you?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
And give people information on your contact information?
I can be reached at susanlataille.com. Yes, that's my website, and then I can also be reached at susan@susanlataille.com if somebody wanted to email me.
Okay, and you have information on there that talks about what your services are and kind of the benefits that it has, so someone kind of get an idea that this is a person that can help me and move in that healing direction?
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much for being on the Spotlight Series. You're doing fantastic work for women around the state and the world, and we appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.